Hi, everybody. Truth be told, I was finishing up on the treadmill, so I'm probably drenched in sweat right now. It just doesn't look good. But anyway, I wanted to get this update to you before my bedtime and before your bedtime, too. Just on the lake effect snow, listen, this is not a blockbuster storm system. This isn't going to produce blockbuster amounts. You're not going to wake up to 8 to 10 inches on the ground, but it's putting down enough snow to cause some travel issues as we expected. And it's kind of behaved as we expected in terms of the movement of it. I was a little worried earlier this afternoon. Our very first post, we had some freezing drizzle. There was an inversion aloft. So bottom line, I don't know how to explain this simply, but in terms of the inversion, it kind of puts a cap on the atmosphere like it does in the summertime with explosive thunderstorm development. And that inversion, which is warmer air aloft, just a little sliver of it, prevents really true growth to lake effect snow and the dendritic growth zone, which is where snow forms. So bottom line, we weren't seeing the snowflake development out of this earlier. I wasn't worried about it here because we were expecting this band to move in this evening, but I was worried about it in Wisconsin and Illinois because it wasn't happening where it should have been happening. But everything kind of came together. The inversion's gone, and now we've got that good lift with some good snow out there as well. So let's take you through it. Again, this is a free broadcast. If our sponsors all take care of that, FBIbuildings.com, Meals on Wheels of Northwest Indiana, publicserviceadjusting.com, tigerplumbing.net, minogue.life, Kate Cusack for Ruoff Mortgage at Kate Cusack Home Loan Girl on Facebook, and Grieger's Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. They are getting their fair share of some sponsor time this week because we've had winter weather around here every single day. So we appreciate all of them. Please support them. All local family folks, a lot of family owned businesses in there, but they're all moms and dads here in the region, and they're just wonderful people. I would put my name behind any of those businesses. And so we thank them for that. All right, here's our lake effect snow that we have right now. Pretty decent band of snow. Notice how it's gotten a little bit wider over time. This was a 10-mile wide band of snow earlier this evening. It's now stretched to about 12 to 15 miles wide. So it is still very narrow. And, that's kind of how lake effect snow goes, right? We don't have a big wide band of snow. It's really kind of hidden to, certain communities, and other people are not seeing that snow yet. And that's how this is going to continue to go. But I like the organization to it. This has kind of followed along in terms of the modeling. It's followed along in terms of what our forecast was calling for in terms of how it became organized as it came through Chicago. And now we're dealing with some good flakes falling and some reduced visibilities. And we have some road problems out there as well. So where is the snow right now? Well, it's in Lake County. It's starting to cross the line into Porter County. This isn't going to be a clear jump into the county. It's going to kind of waffle back and forth for a little bit. And I do think it hangs out in Lake County for another probably 2 to 3 hours as it starts to shift out towards the east. But we've had good snow coming down on the Borman right now, I-65 from the Gary area down towards Maryville, US 30, picking up some decent snow right now, right in the center half of the county. Hobart, you've been starting to see some bursts of snow. They've been on and off over the last half hour. Lake Station, you're getting into the snow as well. And notice the southern periphery of this. So this doesn't slide too far south. This is where your decent snow is. Still some good snow making its way into the Crown Point area and Winfield. But you get down towards southern Lake County, Cedar Lake, Lowell, down towards Shelby. It's not quite as prominent. So we're not seeing much heavy snow there. It's kind of a lighter version of snow with some occasional bigger flakes mixed in. Overall, again, not a huge impact for those folks as you get further inland in Lake County. And then here's Newton County. I am expecting some light accumulations here. I did expect this to hold better, a little bit better together for areas like Roselawn, even as far south as Fair Oaks. We're just not seeing that band hold together that well, but still some flurry activity making all the way down into Kentland and the Sheldon area. Even Fowler's had a few flurries off of this, all lake effect. But by and large, here's where the impactful stuff is. You get into some of these darker blues. That's where you have some of the squalls, and that is where we have the problems right now. In terms of Valparaiso, you've seen a few flurries. That's it. Porter County Airport's had a few snow showers. Other than that, we're not dealing with a lot in Porter County yet. You get up into the Portage area. We're starting to see some snowflakes. We're seeing a couple of our first squalls coming inland now near Burns Harbor. Beverly Shores seeing some snowflakes. This will get into the Portage and Chesterton area here shortly. But this isn't really the organized part. The organized part is back in here where this band is. This is where that flow is right in here of moisture coming in off the lake with that converging wind out over the lake, pushes that snow together, goes up in the air, and you wring it out with the environment that we have. So as we put it into motion here again, I'll show you, this is the last few hours. This is actually this afternoon into the evening. Let me lower my frame rate. We're just going to go a little bit more localized, like since 7 o'clock. So over the last hour or so, it is starting to get a little movement on it. You can see how the core of that band was right about here earlier, and now it's here. So it is starting to jog out towards the east slowly. It's going to continue to creep out towards the east. This will make it into Porter County, Valpo, Chesterton, Portage, all those areas, South Haven as well. You will get into this heavier snow, and it's going to whiten things up as we go throughout the remainder of the evening into the overnight. In terms of, I think that's about all I want to show you on this. I do want to switch sources. I want to show you some cams out there as well, and I want to show you the forecast to where it's going, and we'll talk how much here in a second. But in terms of the radar, this is what we're looking at, all right? Pretty well organized band of snow. The thing that's going to prevent us from seeing over the top totals is the fact this thing's going to be moving, and then it's going to dissipate by tomorrow morning or during the morning hours tomorrow. So there's not a lot of longevity to this. When we get the foot and a half of snow from lake effect, it typically comes from bands of snow that just sit and they park themselves for, 12 to 16 hours over a given location. If this were to park itself for a while, we could certainly see some really decent totals, but it's just not going to do that. I think its longest kind of stationary or subtle movement is going to be right now in Lake County as it kind of waffles back and forth and then heads out towards the east. LaPorte County, you're not out of the woods either. This will eventually shift into Porter and LaPorte County. It will get a little bit less organized as we get into that time frame. Okay, so that's what we're dealing with there. Let me switch sources right here. Sorry, everybody. We're going to switch sources, and I want to show you some of the traffic maps here, courtesy INDOT. So here is the traffic right now. You can see the yellows on here just to get your bearings straight here. Here's the Indiana-Illinois state line. We take it all the way over to Chesterton. I'm putting you right in the heart of Lake County right now with I-65 and the Borman there, also I-90 and the Skyway there as well. All right, and you can see we have slow traffic that basically starts around Calumet City at the state line. Lansing is where it starts to slow down as well, right around 83. And then we deal with just stop and go traffic. I mean, it's slow. It's crawling because the road is snow covered. 8094 is. And then we've got some problems, of course, near Klein Avenue. And then we have more problems as you approach I-65. It's a slow go all the way through there. And then things start to clear up, obviously, where we don't have the snow falling as you get Lake Station and points east. So we're fine near the Portage area on the roadway so far. Chesterton's fine. 49's fine. But that's all about to change. Let me show you some of these cameras, though. I mean, this is a Borman right now. Look at the stop traffic. I mean, it's moving very, very slowly. There's a little bit of a sheen to the roadway there. Ramps are a mess as well. It's just if it's not treated, it's not doing well here today. And there are plows out. INDOT does have plows out on the roadways. And you can see it is manageable. I mean, there are tire tracks out there, but it certainly is a slow go. And the slow part are those bridges and the ramps and the overpasses. All right. Those are all the things that are dealing with some problems right now. Your main thoroughfares are certainly travelable. Everything is, but dealing with obviously that snow on the roadways. Look at I-65 right now. I mean, that's not a great camera. So let's show you some other ones. There you go. I mean, this is showing what the heart of that snow band is doing with the low visibility. You got the flakes on the camera there, a lot of snow on the roadways with just the two marks in the road to follow. This is a little bit further south. And then as we continue to get south, I mean, look at this one. This one's really, I mean, it's really coming down. You can see the snow falling pretty heavily there. I believe that was close to Maryville to US 30. That was close to US 30. This is US 30, the interchange there. Dealing with some good snow. All right. So it's snowing pretty good all across areas of Lake County, especially the northern half of the county right now, where you're going to encounter a slow go if you're heading on out this evening. All right. So where does this go? I'm going to take you through the modeling. I'll tell you what I believe and what I don't with this. And I actually like every single bit of this. So I'm going to show this. The HRRR has taken away the 8 to 10 inch totals that it was showing earlier briefly on some model runs. I mentioned earlier, we need to keep an eye on that, but we weren't going to believe it. And I could see, some areas getting 2 to 4 out of this. I think that's going to be really the exception rather than a rule. I think maybe 1 to 3 ought to do it for most locations as this band squeaks through. But, if it continues to park where it is in Lake County, we're talking maybe an inch and a half an hour with some of these snowfall rates. So you get a couple hours out of that. We're talking 2 to 4 inches of snow before it moves on out. But it doesn't take much to cause problems. We know that. So where do we go? Notice how the development continues out towards the north. We've got a good fetch coming across the lake, and that will continue to bring that snow into Lake and then eventually Porter County here over the next couple hours. And then eventually it'll switch from Porter County into LaPorte County. Lake County, I don't think will lose snow completely. Keep in mind, this model is not truth, all right? This is just what the atmosphere or what the computer model thinks is going to happen with our atmosphere. But I like the way it looks the best, especially with the way the winds are veering and shifting on the backside of this winter storm, which is now heading off the East Coast. I like the way this model kind of depicts that. As we go into the overnight, notice how the snow continues. It becomes less of one single band and more multicellular, kind of multiple bands that are a little bit weaker. That would kind of take the extent of the snow out in terms of mileage. We'd see a wider extent of snow, so it would stretch from maybe still some flurries as we get into the 3, 4, 5 a.m. hour in Lake County. We would have snow showers in Porter County, snow showers in LaPorte County, and then same in Berrien County. So that would kind of stretch this band out with a couple multiple bands, but it would certainly weaken that kind of fire hose band that we have right now. That's really where all the concentration is. This is tomorrow morning for rush hour. Notice how we've got still some lingering snow showers around, especially LaPorte and eastern Porter County. And then eventually all this starts to kind of wind down as we get into the midday and early afternoon hours. And really the only reason why that's happening is there's a wind shift coming again with another renewed shot of cold air that I think will kick up lake effect again. And you can see it here kicking up Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. This may get back into areas like LaPorte County during the daytime on Wednesday. And we talked about it Sunday, but I could see this lake effect band kind of waffling back and forth Wednesday into Wednesday night before it shifts with another wind shift, shifts west, into Porter and Lake County. So I think we could have another little bout of some brief lake effect in Lake and Porter counties. This would be Wednesday night, overnight into Thursday morning. So could that Thursday morning commute be a little tricky around here? It certainly could. We'll see how things verify. Again, it's all lake effect. It's fickle. It kind of does its own thing, but we try to get a handle on it. And that's kind of what I've been seeing in the modeling since Sunday at this point, is that we have a return of some brief lake effect as colder air comes across. All right, so let's look at how much we're talking about. I mean, not much. Notice how there's some pockets in here where we're talking, maybe 3 inches. So I think 2 to 4 ought to do it. And again, is it going to be centered in Porter County from here on out? I do think Porter County is going to get the most from here out because we've already had some snow that's fallen in Lake County. But still, I would extend that back into the Maryville area along I-65 all the way over to 49, I think would be a good window of some 2 to 4 inch totals coming in by tomorrow morning. But most of this is going to fall over the next 6-7 hours or so. All right. By morning, we should start to see snow shower activity push out towards the east. All right. I'll show you one more model just in case this is different. And it's not. This is a NAM Nest. It's much lighter, saying anywhere from 1/2 inch to 1 inch from here on out. I like the 2 to 4. All right. With lesser amounts outside of where that band sets up, obviously. All right. So that's what we're dealing with. Let me see if this NAM Nest goes forward with that lake effect. So it does. So here's the lake effect moving out. And notice how here's that renewed lake effect coming in Wednesday. Yeah, and the NAM Nest even brings some snow shower activity tomorrow into areas of Porter and even Lake counties. But you see how that main band sets up out towards the east. This is the one I've got eyes on right there as it comes back in here Thursday morning for rush hour before it fades. So that's forecasting down the road. I really wanted to focus on tonight and kind of what we're dealing with on the roadways. But obviously slow go, be careful. All right, it now looks like eastbound on the Borman just after Klein Avenue, dealing with some decent slowdowns. You could see those there. I'm sure there's going to be more of that to come. And again, that's just because, obviously it's slick and you have people like 1 out of 20 that drive way too fast and cause some problems for everyone else. And then you've got ramps. So people are really slowing down as they're getting on these ramps, and that's slowing up the feed on the Borman and all the other interstates. So that's where we're at. Okay. I'd be happy to answer questions for you. Then we'll get you on your way here this evening. Again, I wanted this to be a very quick update for you, but I also wanted to be beneficial in terms of where the snow is and where it's going. That's kind of what we're looking at as we go throughout the remainder of tonight into tomorrow. Okay. I'm going to go back to the HRRA. I'm going to let that run so we can see kind of the swing of this, how this thing's going to end up going. over the next 24 hours or so. All right. Yeah, JP, funny comment. Yours is the first one I see. Problems at 65 in the Borman. That's a shocker. My goodness. Malfunction junction, I used to call it on my way to work there at PBS. Tanya, yeah, nothing in Michigan City yet. You'll get into some action. I don't think you'll see a lot of snow, Tanya, from this. But again, that lake effect snow is moving through Lake County into Porter County now. It's real slow. It's moving real slow out towards the east. Eventually, we'll get you some snow showers into tomorrow morning. Louie, you're welcome. Thanks for tuning in. Certainly appreciate that. Jeff, you're welcome as well. Jimmy's saying half inch in Hammond. Yeah, Jimmy, I think we've got more snow setting up just east of you. It always seems to miss you and your plow for some reason. So there's that. Yeah, JP, I know. Isn't your birthday on Thursday, or am I getting that wrong? I have too many dates in my head. But yeah, a little lake effect. It'd be Thursday morning. It wouldn't last long, but we could get some decent lake effect there. Joey, thanks for joining us on our YouTube channel. I appreciate that. We're going to get some in northern Newton and Jasper County. I don't think it's going to be a whole lot. I think a coating to maybe an inch. There's just the flow off the lake isn't as strong as the modeling has. The model has decent snow getting down to you, and it's not. We've got snow showers and flurries in northern Newton County right now. That will translate into Jasper County as well. But further north you get, the more snow you're going to get with this. And again, these amounts aren't off the charts. This is January. This is really a very weak lake effect event if you were to compare them. But still, it's snow, and we haven't had a lot of it, and this is causing problems on the interstates. And obviously, it's something that we need to chat about here, okay? Kristen asks, Cindy, you're welcome for sure. Kristen asks, I'll be driving from Maryville to Demont around 9:45. How bad will my drive be? Well, I do think that's going to be the window, Kristen, of where the snow will be at that time. It'll be moving still in Maryville, but kind of moving out. Demont will be a little bit further away from the action, but still some snow showers expected there. I don't think this is going to be a crazy, crazy event for you, Kristen. As long as you're a good winter weather driver, just take it slow. We'll probably have some snow cover, especially on those secondary roads from this. I don't see a lot of snow being there out of this, but again, it is going to be wintry on your trip, so just take it easy. All right. Kathy, no, I do not see Porter getting 6 inches out of this. I think a general 2 to 4 ought to do it. We're going to get some bursts of heavy snow. We'll see how long it lasts. If lake effect sets up over anywhere where it's not expected to for longer than it's supposed to, yeah, we can start to talk some bigger totals. But I do think this thing is going to continue to flex its way out towards the east. And I don't think we're going to see it sit over an area for 5-6 hours. All right. That's what would get you your 6-inch totals. But I've got a general 2 to 4 where this thing's falling. Could see higher amounts. I mean, we always can. Again, it's lake effect. I've been forecasting lake effect on some Great Lake, whether it be Lake Erie or Michigan, for the last 16 years now. And I'm not going to pretend that we have it completely down, right? It's very fickle. It has to do with the exact wind direction and how strong it's blowing, the convergence, and exactly how much lift you're getting in the atmosphere. There's a lot of variables when it comes to lake effect snow, and that band doesn't hold still. It waffles back and forth, kind of like if you're to take a fire hose and do this and then measure how much water came out in every spot in your lawn, and it'd be different everywhere. So it's hard to tell. But that's kind of where I would go in terms of that. Kathy wanted to try out her new tires. Kathy, there's plenty of winter left. There's plenty of January left as it looks right now. That's right, JP. Yours was Saturday. We were all wishing you a happy birthday. I got it. Oh, yeah, you've got your trip, Valpoto Highland. Got it. Susan, you're welcome for sure. Wishing we were there. Family driving home to Northwest Indiana from South Carolina. What you thinking? Should they wait a day? Well, it depends on their route. When are they driving home? Are they driving home tomorrow, or are they driving home now? It depends on when they leave. Now, as long as they don't go north, like I would probably avoid 77. I'm just trying to think of the route. Can they take, I think 40's close through North Carolina due to the flooding. I'm just trying to think of the route. I'm not really familiar other than 95 with Virginia interstates. But either way, if they can avoid Virginia and West Virginia and even Southern Ohio and Kentucky, if they can go like towards Tennessee, if that makes sense, and then up 65, they should be okay. I'm assuming 65 will be much better in 71 as well through those areas that got the ice storm in a day, if they're leaving then. We'll see. So, Andrew, got it. That's okay. Well, I don't know. Oh, it's Andrew. Hey, Andrew. That's a great name you got there. In terms of, if they're leaving tomorrow, if they can go further west first and then go north, they'd be okay. So there's that. All right. Nick says we have a white Christmas for us Orthodox. Yeah, that's right, Nick. You're right. We missed it on the other side of things, but you've got your own white Christmas. That's a good point. James, for whiting, right now, I think the bulk of the snow is going to be east of you. We're still seeing some snow showers there, but again, that heavy band, the heavy concentrated band is just east of you, and there's not a lot of signs it's going to come back to whiting. I think it's going to head out towards the east, okay? That's kind of where we're going from there. All right? All right, everybody. I think that's about it. Again, it's my bedtime. I do the morning news, and we get an alarm clock at 2 a.m., which is just ridiculous. So lots to talk about here in the weather world, not just here, but around the country as well. All right, Ethan's with us. Ethan always asks a big question right before bedtime. Ethan, is the pattern going to get favorable towards the middle part of the month for winter storms? Ethan, I don't see that. That's a wonderful question, buddy. I don't see a favorable pattern for big winter storms because this air is so cold and that jet stream's taking such a dive down to the south that it's essentially cutting off the Gulf of Mexico from letting the Gulf of Mexico do its thing. We were able to do that this last week because we had the low that formed in Oklahoma. So we were able to gather that Gulf of Mexico moisture out ahead of it. This storm system coming later this week's kind of weird. There's two low pressures with it, but there's not a ton of Gulf of Mexico moisture getting involved because that first initial air mass that's coming in Wednesday, Thursday, just so far reaching. It kind of puts the Gulf of Mexico out of play for a little bit, at least in terms of its full capabilities. So I don't see it mid-month. We'll see if that changes later this month. Whenever we start to see a warming trend, whenever I finally start to see in the modeling that we may start to warm up again, that's when we run the risk of winter storms, because now we're throwing in more humidity, and to warm up, we have a south wind or a wind coming out of the southwest somewhere, and that's where you can start to play with more moisture. So we'll see. All right. Let's see. Jessica asking, how does it look for Valparaiso? Jessica, we mentioned this earlier. This band is going to continue to shift out towards the east. Okay, so Valpo is going to be in play here. Probably another half hour. You'll start to see some good flakes. Let me switch this over real quick. You're going to get a big shot of my mug. Again, I just got off the treadmill, so not a fashion show here. Okay, I just want to make that very clear. Let me go back to our radar again. So this is where the snow is right now. So, we've got another probably 15 minutes, Jessica, before the snow gets into Valparaiso. The heavier stuff is still centered on areas of eastern Lake County. Okay, that's your heavy stuff. And it's getting pretty far south. There you go. But you can see how that band is shifting out towards the east. So we're now starting to get some flakes in Portage. Chesterton, you're seeing your first flakes as well. And this will get into Valparaiso shortly. So this band will kind of pause and fluctuate between Lake and a lot of Porter County here over the next 3-4 hours or so. And again, I could see 2 to 4 inches across a good portion of Porter County, especially further north you get from this. Okay. Jessica, are you related to Joe at all? Arredondo. Let me know, because I worked with Joe at Lakeshore for a long time. I miss that guy. He was great. All right, Donna, you're welcome. Let's see. Joel asks a question. How much longer does this stay active in Crown Point? Well, Joel, I think the heavy stuff is getting out of here. Sorry, I'm playing with the comments there. I think the heavy stuff's going to start to get out of here in not too long. I mean, the axis of the heaviest snow is now east of you. So you're going to come into play every little, we get these little lobes that kind of form off of it. It's not a perfect eccentric band. So you're going to come into play with a couple more kind of bursts of snow. But I think the bulk of it's going to be east of you right now. So not a lot for you. I know you probably have maybe a half an inch out of this, maybe more. I'm not sure. I'm just kind of radar guesstimating right now. But that's kind of what we're looking at for you the rest of the evening. Okay. You're absolutely welcome. Donna, you're welcome as well. Kathy, I know you will. Go Irish. She's excited for Notre Dame. Some big games coming up Thursday, Friday. Let's see. And Munster is about done with the snow. Yeah, most of this is going to set up out towards your east. Maybe a few snow flurries from here on out. JK, we've almost got enough to sled. My goodness, not quite there yet. Aaron, I will. Thank you. Joel, you're welcome. Wanata Dragica is going to start to get into the snow probably another half hour, 45 minutes. So here you are sitting there. Band is starting to work in. And I think the main core of this band is going to settle somewhere in here over the next couple hours, and it's going to orient a little bit different. So the axis is kind of like this right now. It's going to eventually start to shift kind of more like this, at least in my mind. All right. So that'll take its time a little bit longer than what you think to get into Wanata. But I think you'll end up with some snow there too, probably a coating, maybe an inch or two, depending on if that sets up for you in the Wanata area. Okay. All right. Rich, this is my last question. I can't stop. Oh, you've asked twice, Rich. Shame on me. I should have answered this. I see your other one. He's asking about Lake Station. So Lake Station's getting into it now. Rich, you've got kind of the meat and potatoes of this squall line or this lake effect band right over you. So you can see how that's centered. Coming into Miller Beach, Lake Station, New Chicago, Hobart. You are in the core of this snow right now. Again, it's not blockbuster, but you're dealing with low visibility and it's starting to add up, right? We're seeing rates an inch and a half an hour where we've got some of these heavier bands. So you're in the core of it now. This will eventually shift out towards the east. But Rich, I see some good snow for you continuing to fall. I think you'll be in it for a little while now, even as it shifts into Porter County. You're right on that line. So I think you'll get some good snow out of this. Okay. All right. You're welcome, buddy. I appreciate that. Sorry I missed your first question there. For sure. JP, you're welcome. Susan, you're welcome. Kristen, absolutely. Appreciate you too. Kathy, have a good night. All right. I think that's it. All right. We'll get through it. All right. Not a huge snow, but it's some snow. So we'll take it. Just be careful if you know someone that's out driving or if you have to drive, maybe you're a third shift worker tonight, just be careful out on area roadways. Okay. Take it slow. Use those winter weather driving practices that we have. Okay. All right. And we get a report in here. Michael saying right now it stops at Deep River or maybe stop and go at Deep River Water Park heading east on US 30. Roads are really slick. So there's that. So thank you for that, Michael. Be careful if you are out driving. Okay. All right, guys, we've got more lake effect snow and cold in the forecast. We'll talk more about it as we go throughout the week. Okay. Have a good Monday night. Stay strong and be safe.